go over the Unit 3 writing supports for research-based information writing for 6th grade. So there's a lot to go over, and I'm really trying to make this nice and sweet. We're going to obviously culminate into going into depth over the Canvas module here, but there's lots of other things behind the scenes that I want to make sure I go over with you. So there are 3 different bends in this unit, and I have built modules in both Ben 1, Ben 2, Ben 3, so you can make a decision on what you import from the Commons and what you end up using, and I'll go more into that in a minute. Additionally, beyond the Canvas course, you also have some teacher supports. So for example, you have this unit planner, which everything is linked here. That's kind of the main component, or why this would be helpful. So we've gone ahead and added in links to everything. It's pretty reciprocal. You'll be able to find your way back once you open at least one of them. So you also have some teacher Cdl supports. So these teacher slides have been broken out into Ben 1, Ben 2, Ben 3, and these are meant to be used during your live Zoom sessions, or even using during a pre-recorded mini lesson. The digital lesson supports from TC are also linked here in these teaching slides as well. I have also created an interactive digital notebook for the students, which we'll talk about more in a little bit. And throughout this slide deck, there's also spaces for you to provide feedback. If you come across something that's not working, the link doesn't work, you need a different video, you have a different suggestion or a video, please give us feedback or send me an email. I'd love to see it. You've got links to the on-demand performance tasks or prompts, and then additionally, there is a Canvas writing pre-assessment and post-assessment in the module 2, which I'll go over in a little bit. You have access to anchor charts and conferring supports, as well as your writing checklists. In terms of your mentor texts, I'm relying pretty heavily on updated Newsela text sets. Since this unit was written a while ago, a lot of the teens for the teen activism section are no longer teens, they're in their late 20s. So using some newer supports and information is going to be really critical and helpful here. Additionally, I went through and created some Spanish text sets on the same topic, so you should be able to use those. Once this video is up and running, I will have this ready to go for you as well. So I'll do a crosswalk between the Saravallo Writing Strategies book and this unit, and provide 15 to 20 different strategies that you can rely on to help with small group interactions and conferring. We also have supports for multilingual, SEL, connections between you and your fellow teachers so that you can share out ideas and student samples. And also looking at some digital suite of tools. So for example, we're really focusing on Book Creator and Adobe Spark Page for this particular unit. In Ben 1, students are creating or doing a lot of research actually on teen activism and doing a short essay. In Ben 2, they're using Book Creator to do a chapter book. And in Ben 3, they're creating a website on Adobe Spark Page. So those are the areas of focus for this particular unit. For each particular session, I've condensed down the information into a one-pager. So this would be like, I guess, a lesson plan. And again, everything is linked that you might be using here. And you can obviously print it out if you need to, or share this if you need sub-plans as well. I'm going to jump into the teacher supports. So these are, again, meant to be used as a slide deck during your live Zoom. You can clearly see which sessions when your new session comes up. You've got the teaching point for the day. This little icon here will link you to the teacher college virtual units. There's no other way for me to provide that for you as a teacher in a live link like this, other than following these instructions. But if you were to go and give these virtual lessons to students, they have 150 limit view, I believe. So you would need to go in and use your own code and password to provide those videos to students if you need to. Your virtual slides that you would use during Zoom obviously have any images that you might need, anchor charts you might need, videos you might need. There's some sections that have notes in the speakers area for you to fill in as you go through the content. Again, everything should be listed here, but I really would highly advise you before going into teaching the unit to, make it your own. Make a copy of this, delete stuff, change things out. Some of the workshop tasks for each session are a lot and might take more than one day. So, again, I was just going straight from the TC unit, so go through here, please, and make it your own. And then to also dive really quickly into the interactive notebook, students would need to make a copy of this, and then they would have access to all of the anchor charts, for example. They can be found at the front of the book. And then we go through each of the sessions and giving them a space to write down their thoughts and ideas, flash draft that they need to. Everything is hyperlinked. These are all buttons to any of the articles that we're providing. So everything that you would have seen in the teacher slides has also been provided not only here in the interactive notebook, but then also in the Canvas module itself. So if we go ahead and dive into the Canvas modules, I'm going to go into the module view and show you that I actually have some teacher resources that have been unpublished, and I want to just go through those. So you have links to the teacher planners and support slides and the journal here. The journal is pretty extensive because it goes for the entire unit. If you haven't taken a look at Pile of Slides yet, I really highly recommend that you take a look at that PD, because I think it might be a great way to make that journal a little bit more easy to navigate for students, and you can build the journal out as you go through the unit. The video I'm making right now will be housed right here, and I will be providing some PD to walk you through all of these resources, and I will record that as well, and that will go here. I have also additionally, similar to your shell for Canvas, given you a resource page with the banners, the dividers, the buttons, and everything. So you just need to make a copy of that. It's view only mode when you click on these buttons to be able to go in and change these out. So you can delete any of these images and add in your own at any time. And then some teacher considerations for the course. You can make the decision that you don't want to use the digital journal at all, and that's totally fine because the activities are also in the Canvas module. Your students might feel like it might be a little bit repetitive or redundant, but other ways, I think it's good to give them lots of different access points to try and get to the lesson materials anyways. So if you decide not to use the digital journal, totally fine. All of the components are here in the module as well. You also, again, want to take a look at those teacher slides, make a copy, make it meet your needs, and then take a look at the pre and the post assessment. The pre-assessment is an on-demand writing assessment from TC. It's built as a quiz. It's exactly the same as the post assessment. The pre is linked in Bend 1, and the post is linked in Bend 3. So if you make a decision, for example, to not do Bend 1, you might want to grab that pre-assessment anyways and move it into, if you're starting from Bend 2, move it into Bend 2 there. In Bend 2, because of the book creator piece, you are going to need to go into book creator, create your shelf. We have a free account. Beaverton is paying for us. It's not free. We're paying for it, but you can go in, make your account, and then give the code in session 11 because that's the first time the kids will be diving into Book Creator to start and make their chapter books. At the end of Bend 2, there is a way to publish your Book Creator bookshelf so that your students can see everyone's books in one place, and I think it's pretty awesome, and I'll show you when we get into Bend 2. And then another thing to think about, at the end of Bend 3, the students will go into small breakout rooms to share their Adobe Spark pages. But if you would like to create a space where the students can see everyone's pages and not just their small groups, I would really highly suggest maybe creating a discussion thread. There's a couple of digital quote-unquote gallery walks that I've created using Canvas discussions that you can just copy and paste and use for that purpose specifically. It would work great. I didn't make it because I didn't know if you needed it or wanted it, but I think that might be a good idea. Additionally, the original TC units had the kids in Bend 3 making a decision on if they wanted to do a website or a presentation. I kind of translated that into a TED Talk. and started making all of the materials for that TED Talk option. And then found out that we really didn't have a priority speaking target for virtual learning, so I took it out. I didn't delete it. It's still there. If you go into pages and assignments, you'll find all of the materials for the TED Talk. Just because if you do have any ESL students, they do have some speaking targets and components, and it also could be good evidence for those students. So if you are interested, it's still there. It's just not in the main module, so the students won't run into it and go, we didn't talk about this. What is this? So it's there for you if you want to use it and just make that decision. And again, that interactive journal pile of slides idea, I think is a really good one. Okay, so if I come back to the main setup for each of the bends, they kind of all run the same. I'm not a huge proponent for throwing students into the module view. I prefer them to work through using the forward and back buttons, as well as just navigational buttons that I create. So each bend does in fact have a writing homepage. So there's a bend 1 writing homepage, bend 2, and bend 3. It lists out all of the sessions being the day's homework and materials. That does not have a turn and submit button. And then anything that's labeled homework is in fact a submission space. And I also, again, created these anchor chart options for all of the students. So these are all the anchor charts for this particular unit. And if a student clicks on any one of those images, it will pop out with an actual page where they can zoom in and get more information. The anchor charts menu and pages are all linked within module 1. So if you decide not to use module or bend 1, module 1, and the reason I keep bringing that up is simply because if you in fact did the identity and social justice unit at the beginning of the school year, it kind of hits on some of the same topics, research and teen activism. So you technically could fall back and on that unit and remind students, remember when we did social justice and identity, let's bring that information forward, and we're going to dive into bend 2, for example. But if you wanted kids to have access to this anchor chart menu, then I would still recommend importing from the Commons so that you do have access to that. You also have access to the pre-assessment, which I noted earlier. So this does have a timer on it. So again, make a decision if you want the 45 to 60 minute timer. If you don't want it, just go into the edit mode and take it out. Navigational button here will take you back to the main writing homepage. And then I wanted to briefly show you within bend 2. In session 11 is where they see the book creator information for the first time. I have some student samples from another school district. They did chapter books in book creator for this unit, but instead of teen activism, they were focusing on invasive species. So it's similar, but not quite. But this is what I was meaning by being able to post your digital bookshelf for the students to be able to see it. So there is instructions for how you can do that. There's also a tutorial video for students to watch on how to get started with Book Creator, but it's super easy, and I think the kids are going to really enjoy playing around with this. So their end unit will end to this bend anyways, will be that Book Creator chapter, and they will do a gallery walk book exhibit, and they'll just post their books here and be able to jump in and see each other's books as well. So bend 3, the final project for bend 3 is the website, like I said. And let's see, I did give you a few examples. This one I think is the best example. Adobe Spark pages are just a single page that then interacts as you scroll down. And I think this is a good example for how students have used the visuals and quotes and writing to jump into, making a digital web page on their research topic. You can additionally add in buttons and YouTube videos, links out to articles. I think the kids will really have fun diving into this. And again, it's very user-friendly. And I think we do give a few instructions on this page on how to create their new page and upload it. Okay, so I think that's everything. And just let me know as you go through and start using this unit if you have any issues or problems. If you do end up not moving in all 3 of the bends, you might have to take a closer look on some of the buttons for navigation and make sure that those are all properly linked for your student.